George Soros has enormous, dangerous reach in the American media. I did a previous video talking about the World Economic Forum's Klaus Schwab and his influence on the media. So I thought it'd be good to now talk about George Soros and his media influence. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon where I talk about things I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my merch store where I have I Will Not Comply t-shirts as well. All right, let's talk about this news. George Soros, billionaire financier, leftist activist, and influencer, has extensive financial connections with global media, as shown in Media Research Center study, with the unavoidable result that these outlets promote socialist ideological agendas. According to a report that Joseph Vasquez and Dan Snyder wrote for the Media Research Center, Soros has connections with 253 global media organizations. The report, published in early December, may already be out of date because it does not seem to include the money he poured into a hard left group that is on the verge of purchasing 18 Spanish language radio stations across 10 different markets, giving them, quote, access to 1/3 of the Hispanic population. MRC asserts that Soros had, quote, molded public opinion on practically every continent. Because of his donations and contributions, money that he claims advances his open society agenda, an agenda that is radical, Marxist, socialist. Open society advocates for abortion, Marxist economics, defunding the police, lax law enforcement, open borders, aggressive, even violent environmentalism, and LGBT activism. The report also correctly observes that Soros gets favorable treatment from those global media organizations and their journalists, reporters who know who their daddy Warbucks is. The result, as expected, is the targets that targets other than Soros for investigation and criticism. The MRC report is just part of a planned three-part series exposing Soros' relationship with international media. MRC believes that this information will explain why there is so much leftist international coordination on political reporting and advocacy journalism. And I also put out a report on democrepublics.com where I talked about some of the history of George Soros and where he comes from as well. The MRC report names some of the organizations involved in flooding news and opinion outlets with Soros's money. The Poynter Institute received $492,000 to train future leftist journalists. Open Democracy received over $1.6 million to promote leftist reports, and of course, NPR added $600,000 to his taxpayer-funded outlets to report the news with the leftist slant. And I've talked about those organizations before in previous videos. Money talks and pay to play are the watchwords of the media and politicians. Through his super PAC, Democracy 2, Soros was the Democrats' top donor in 2022, giving them at least $126 million. Soros is also a notorious major contributor to anti-Israel causes. Um, his Open Society Foundations also gave $220 million to Black Lives Matter aligned organizations. That's a lot of money for Rent-A-Mob and other activities that influence politicians and private corporations to accede to leftist pressure. Uh, Politics is war for Marxist socialists, and hired guns and bullhorns are essential to moving opinions. To paraphrase the old Saturday night TV show, have gun will travel, have Soros bucks will travel. That's why, along with Klaus Schwab, the media will never ever criticize these people. They even though a lot of their policies and what they're pushing are actually hurting the majority of the people that they claim they want to help, they will never hold their feet to the flames. They will never ever criticize them. And if you Google them and look them up, you will see that everything that we talk about when it comes to Soros and characters as like them, they always call us conspiracy theories and we make these things up. But when you actually look at what they're pushing and what it actually does to the average person, it actually hurts them. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out themarkrepublics.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.